Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a simple modification video. This time we are featuring a Watch Crunch inspired design. Now this was a collaboration between me and another modifier who made this watch out of the dial that I created, inspired from the Watch Crunch app platform. I advise you to download it if you haven't already. But long story short, we had a failure at the bezel. I'm not entirely sure where this case was purchased. I'm not entirely sure what went wrong. But when I found out what happened, I reached out to the person who owned the watch and I told them I'd be happy to repair it. I had a couple of parts handy to do so. So I figured, why not throw on the camera and you guys can benefit from this just to take some small cues and hopefully help you out down the way. Now, this is the reason why I like the NH35. There are plentiful of on-the-shelf cases that you can find to do a repair if you have this kind of issue and if you're into modifying. So we are going to remove the movement and keep everything intact because there's nothing wrong with the actual movement inside. This is all exterior failures. So we are going to remove that. Now, first thing is first was to remove that crown, and then we are getting access to the movement. We are finding points that are safe to lift up, stay away from the oscillating. Balance wheel is the name of the game, right? We want to find points on the movement itself where it's safe to lift. You don't want to go and use any tools that are near gears. And I like to use these hand removals because they are a thick piece of metal and they don't offer any resistance or any bending when I'm doing so. So that is something that I would say to use if you're going to do that. Now, when I first take the movement out, of course, we're always going to check for dust and cleaning. We want to make sure we prevent least amount of dust getting into that. Now, I am going to push down this second hand just to make sure that it's secure and that it wasn't interfered or fouled when we were removing it from the case. It's just my paranoia maybe. But once we're done with that, we're going to safely cover that up while we work on everything else. Now, I have this Frankenstein build that I did in the past with my name on as far as a logo goes. I don't need the watch. It is something that I just kind of built out of spare parts, and it's in a perfect fit for where this crown is attached to the actual movement, right? It has to be the same kind of point of attachment. This case resembles that other tuna. So we're going to utilize this to do that. So we are removing the movement from this watch as well. There are some caveats to where I did have to add a chapter ring, and I'm going to be showing you guys how I did that as well. We're going to be using some double-sided tape as adhesive. But again, case back comes off, and then you have the gasket to follow, and we're going to put everything to the side there. We now have to go after the crown. There's a little notch in there that releases it, very easy to get to. Now, this case also has a spacer for the movement in the back of it. So all of these things, the chapter ring, that little spacer for the movement is going to fill in the space for the inside of this case, which we will have to put back in order for this movement to not have any shifting when we're using the keyless works to the crown. And that's a thing. So we set that to the side as well. We're looking for those points of access again. I always find the side. It should be generally loose. Sometimes they'll get a little stuck on there and they'll need some love. Take your time. Find safe points while going around it. Again, stay away from the balance wheel, of course. Don't grab it by the gears again. I'm moving aside here the rotator just to find a place. Once I see that it's loose enough, I just flip it over. Sometimes I bring the pad up just to prevent any vibrations and everything else. Now I have this dial that has the same chapter ring that we're going to have to place on this dial to make this happen. And there are a couple of modifications that I'm going to have to do to that as well, because on this dial, there are tabs that are integrated to fit this chapter ring without the use of adhesive, which you would prefer to do. You do want to prevent using any glue or any double-sided tape if it is possible, because these things are not meant to be within the movement. You don't want them to melt or interfere. It's just a lot easier to have things lock into place without any kind of substance between them. But I don't have that option, so I'm clipping the feet off the back of the chapter ring at this point with a nail clipper. We're going to file it down. As you can see, I moved the movement away from all of the work that we're doing here because the shavings on that plastic can be microscopical. It can interfere with the movement. So we're going to keep things at a safe distance while we work and do that. So we're just going to file this down to where everything is nice and flush. clean off the little space that we're working on. And then we're gonna get the double-sided glue adhesive to make this happen. And I wanna show you guys what that looks like too. I have a surgical blade that I'm gonna introduce. I'm using some Rodico here because cleaning is always like, you wanna clean twice. You know, they say measure twice and cut once. Well, clean twice and then put your movement together, if you will, no matter whether we're talking about quartz or mechanical, it's just a thing. Now, I have this double-sided tape that I'm going to cut small little strips that are gonna sit underneath that chapter ring to adhere it to the dial. Be very careful, of course, if you're using a surgical blade. I use a cutting board as well. You know, I have a whole bunch of things that I built over the years to just help me get along and work through different things and different aspects. So once that is done, we are going to place that on the bottom of that chapter ring. And you have to make sure that they're cut thin enough and that they're not bleeding over from the bottom, which will be effectively right side up, spilling over to the dial, right? So as I'm placing this on, I'm kind of maneuvering them towards the center of the back of this chapter ring, making sure that they don't show over it. It is a clear product once you remove it from that tape. And then placing it down, making sure you line everything nice and neat is very important too. You don't want things to be wonky. I always settle this down very slowly, very nice and even. We're not pressing down too hard because the back of the movement is sitting on the cutting board at this point. But take your time, place it down very gently, very slowly. Line up that 12 o'clock before you push down, and of course clean off with the little blower there. And then we're cleaning off the dial. Clean, clean, clean. That's the name of the game. Any additional dust that's found its way on there before we case that, you know, I mean, this is the point before we're going to recase it. We're skipping a lot of steps. We didn't have to put on the dial. We didn't have to re-put the hands. I just secured that second hand, and then we're now introducing the movement to the case itself. Of course, I skipped the part where I cleaned the case. I gave that a nice little blower too, and then we just case the movement, and this is how I do it. I set it down nice and slow. Take your time. You don't want to settle that case onto the second hand, pinch it, and then at that point it will be broken. And then once we flip it over, we take those hand removers and we're pushing down on the very edge of the movement always, right? No matter what we're talking about, whether we're pressing down the dial feet into the movement or we're pressing the movement into the case, we always are going to be pressing towards the edge, staying away from all the important stuff in the middle. And once that's done, of course, I think I skipped this step. I flipped it over to make sure that it was actually lined up from the dial. And then we're placing the crown in there. Now, on the back of the movement, you'll know also if it's lined up correctly. You could kind of gauge it from the opening to the movement for the crown and the stem itself. So that could be your first point, but you still want to flip it over to make sure. Now, we're also introducing that spacer as well. That was in there originally, so we have to make sure that that's going to fill up the rest of the space and make sure this is a very large case. The tuna is a very large case to this movement, so you want to fill in all that space. And then, of course, we are going to introduce some silicone grease to this gasket, as always, right? No matter how long it's been in there, once I open up the case, I always give it another hit of that. It can't hurt. It is going to give that longevity. It is going to give you an additional waterproofing. And then after placing it in its spot, I tap it down with some tweezers periodically on a 360 rotation to make sure that that is flush. This way, when I introduce the case back, I am sure that I'm not pinching down on that gasket. That's pretty important, right? You would imagine that securing down that case back very, very tight would actually create more water resistance. It doesn't. You don't have to go nuts. You do want to make sure that it's nice and tight. But more importantly, in my opinion, is the gasket that's in between it to prevent the water from flowing in. So after that's done, of course, we have the crown in there. I'm going to screw that down, and we're making sure everything lines up. And then we are going to finally secure that case back entirely. And again, I'm not doing a tremendous amount of strength. I pretty much just hand torque this. I don't have a machine for it, but I don't think it's really necessary. I have pretty good grip strength. And then we're just checking the crown function, right? Want to make sure that the watch is functioning. I am sending this back out to its owner. I want to make sure that that crown is screwing in and working and functioning properly with all the keyless work functions, including the date changes and everything else, making sure that those hands line up very nicely. And then from there, you're at the home stretch. You're pretty much done. I'm going to introduce a strap to this just so I could show you guys the watch on wrist. Again, this video was created just to show you a quick and easy way to swap in between cases for watches. That may be a thing that you want to do. That is the fun of getting an NH35. You have a lot of things available to you. You could switch out the cases, you could switch out hands, dials, everything of the like, and really have fun and practice with modifying with just one watch before going crazy and doing a whole bunch of other builds. Now, I also like to put a little bit of grease on the crown threads just to make things a little buttery smooth when you're screwing in and screwing out and taking away from a little bit of that friction. It's not really necessary. I would say it's more important to lubricate those gaskets within the crown probably, but that was already done, that's already achieved, and I'm just gonna spread that around. That's gonna make for a nice screw in and screw out of the crown. And then again, I'm going to check everything on its final inspection to make sure it is functioning properly. I believe it does. And from there, we're pretty much at the home stretch. It's pretty much set and done, and we're going to put a strap. I'll put this on my wrist. I have a 7¼ inch wrist for reference, just so you guys know and are interested maybe in a tuna modification for your NH35. And you have to make sure you get the right movement for this kind of design. As you can see, the crown is not sitting at the 3 o'clock. It's more so at the 4 o'clock. They have ones that are in between that. So that is something that you have to pay mind if you are looking to do a case swap. So very simple, but you know, it could be missed at the end of the day. So here's a green strap that I'm going to be placing on the watch. It is a nautical watch. It is a diver style. So we are putting a strap that is going to coincide with that. And I think it matches really well with the case coloring and the colorway for it and all the like. So I'm going to put it on wrist, and I have a 7¼ inch wrist for reference. Again, this video was meant to just be a quick modification so you guys can see exactly how it looks. I'm lining up the bezel to make sure that that is on par and is straight. Watch modifications will always be a part of my watch collecting journey, and I like to share these things with you to give you guys a little confidence. If you are deciding to do modifications yourself, I like to include that in the content that this channel provides. In fact, I also created a playlist of all my modifications, whether it be something very simple all the way up to putting a watch together from scratch. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, check that playlist out. Watch reviews, doing live unboxings, doing interviews with brand owners, and everything else of the like is also included on this channel. But I thank you guys for taking a look at this quick video. I appreciate you guys for spending your most valuable asset, which is time, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.